Good morning, friends. Hey, it's Ms. Miller here again. I thought we'd read another book about dogs today. This one is about a little black dog, and his name is Angus. So let's see what happens to Angus. First, we need to talk about the author and the illustrator. Let's see who this was. Marjorie Flack is her name, and she both wrote the words and she also made the drawings or the illustrations for this book. Angus and the cat. Each day, as Angus grew older, he grew longer, but not much higher. Scotty dogs grow that way. Now, as Angus grew older and longer, he learned many things. He learned it is best to stay in one's own yard, and frogs can jump, but let's see. Oh, look. So a Scottish Terrier is a relative of a Westie, but Scotties are always black, or sometimes they're wheaten, which is sort of a blonde tan color. And there Angus has learned that the frogs can jump, but let's see what happens next. Not to jump after them, and he learned an important lesson. If you jump in the water after the frog, you're going to get wet too. And butterflies, no, this is about balloons. And balloons go pop. Poor Angus. Angus also learned not to lie on the sofa and not to take somebody else's food and things like that. Ooh. I have a feeling Angus got in trouble. Yeah. But there was something outdoors Angus was very curious about, but had never learned about, and that was cats. The leash was too short. There's Angus. And there's cats. Until one day, what should Angus find? Indoors, lying on the sofa, but a strange little cat. Angus came closer. The cat sat up. Angus came closer. Up jumped the cat onto the arm of the sofa. Angus came closer and look, there he is. There's the cat on the sofa with Angus. Oh, look there, the cat jumped up on the arm of the sofa and Angus still sees her. Sss, that little cat boxed Angus' ears. Look, she hissed and she used her claws at his ears. I bet that didn't feel very good. Woof, woof, said Angus. Up jumped the cat on the sofa back, up to the mantel, and Angus was not high enough to reach her. You see the cat's tail? Yeah. But at lunchtime, down she came to try and take Angus' food, though not for long. Look at that sneaky cat. Up she jumped onto the table, and Angus was not high enough to reach her. At nap time, there she was, sitting in Angus' own special square of sunshine, washing her face, though not for long. Up she jumped onto the windowsill, and Angus was not high enough to reach her. sounds like the cat's being tricky. She knows exactly where she can go, but Angus cannot. For 3 whole days, Angus was very busy chasing that cat, but she always went up out of reach until on the 4th day he chased her up the stairs. Oh, there they go. Into the bedroom, and she was completely gone. Angus looked under the bed. No cat was there. I wonder where she went. Angus looked out of the window. Angus doesn't sure where she went either. Into his yard, into the next yard. No cat could be seen anywhere. Oh, look. I think the cat's hiding. What do you think? Did you see the cat? Let me try again. See if you can spot that cat. Angus went down the stairs. He looked on the sofa. No cat there. He looked on the mantel. No cat there. Angus looked on the table, and there he's headed down the stairs. On the windowsills, no cat was indoors anywhere. So Angus was all alone. There was no cat to box his ears. There was no cat to take his food. There was no cat to sit in his sunshine. There was no cat to chase away. So Angus was all alone, and he had nothing to do. Angus missed the little cat. There he's looking for her on the windowsills. And there he is. Do you think Angus might be sad? A little bit? I think you're right. But at lunchtime, he heard this noise. Purr, purr, purr. And there she was again. And Angus knew, and the cat knew, that Angus knew that. Oh, look. There she is. Angus was glad the cat came back. Oh, look. They're sharing his food. That's nice, isn't it? Awesome. That's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome day today, friends. Bye.